my name's Tom Forrest. I'm a producer and mixing engineer, and at the moment we're in the Sonic Lodge in Edinburgh. I originally started out as a producer, and I released quite a few records under an alias, and then whilst doing that I started doing mixing, just little small mixing jobs for other people, and then basically it kind of sort of grew from there, and so I was doing less and less production and more mixing for other people, and that's basically sort of how I fell into my role now as a mixing engineer. So at the moment I'm currently working on an album for a garage rock band called Little Barry, and that's something I'm going to be working on for the next couple of months or so. So yeah, previous artists that I've worked with would be Duke Dumont, Basement Jaxx, Katy B, Skream, Rudimental, people like that. And I was really lucky that when I was working with Duke Dumont, that two of the songs that we worked on together got nominated for Grammys as well for Best Dance Recording. So that was a strange experience. I'm influenced by so many different people and so many different genres of music as well. In terms of what influences me with my sound is probably going to be like a lot of the old sort of acid house and dance tracks that I grew up listening to, you know. So I mean, people like Marshall Jefferson, Derek May, Jeff Mills, you know, Richie Houghton, people like that were just really making sort of really groundbreaking music when I was younger, and that influence still transfers over to what I'm doing today, because there's been kind of a resurgence in that sort of sound as well. I use a lot of the sort of tones and influence that I got from those guys way back in the sort of early and mid-90s. I normally take quite an unconventional approach to my mixing, where I don't try and focus on the fact that I'm mixing, if that makes sense. So basically I just turn everything up. You know, I don't normally start with like the drums and then add in the bass, which is how a lot of people mix. I'll normally just put the whole thing up and then just start sculpting away the mix that way, and treat it more that I want it to sound good on my speakers first, not that I'm just trying to mix it to sound really polished and overproduced. Most of my sound now is pretty much achieved in the box. I've got access to lovely equipment, and I do use it, but I don't mix as much through the console anymore or anything like that. You know, I do a lot of the majority of my mixes are actually done in the box, because basically for recall purposes, I don't think analog equipment nowadays is as important as it was, you know, as little as maybe 2, 3, 4 years ago. Plugins nowadays are fantastic. Hardware does have a tone, it does have a sound, and like it's very hands-on, which I love. Consoles and compressors and EQs aren't that important, you know. Even they're your bread and butter tools. But you know, you do not need racks and racks of outboard equipment to be a mixing engineer nowadays. That's very much where it's kind of changed. The things that are really important in the music industry, you meet the same people on the way up as you do on the way down. So always be respectful for people, because the music industry changes so quickly. Another very important piece of information as well is just be flexible. You know, don't just be a producer, or don't just be a DJ. Try and, you know, if music is something that you're passionate about and that you love, get into as many bits of music as you can.